Have you played the Lego Batman game, Legacy of the Dark Knight? Well, I have. And I got some serious thoughts, a few criticisms. Let's get into it.
We have a signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Beyond the Bat Signal. I'm your host, Dominic, and today I'm going to have so much fun talking about Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight. But before I get into it, today Matt Reeves drops a video, and yeah, it's a 30-second video, and me as a Batman fan, I am jacked up like I had 10 espressos all in a row. Yeah, it's a camera test. I don't care. But it's of Batman Part 2. And it takes place in the winter. And you see snowflakes. There's a little bit of chaos with the police sirens. You got the police lights. And then you got Batman just showing up. And the camera work for that small little bit that you see Batman, chef's kiss. I love it. I'm here for it. I totally planned on recording to the review, and sure enough, Matt Reeves drops a doozy. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube, go on any of the socials, because Matt Reeves shared it, and check it out. It's totally worth it. Like, I freaking loved it, and I watched it like 5 times. So, does it give anything away? No, it's a camera test. The only unfortunate thing, I'll give you this news right now, is it got pushed. The movie got pushed from, I think it was October 2nd, 2027. Anyway, it's getting moved to February of 2028. So, let me get you the exact date with this fancy Google machine, if you've ever heard of it. That's right, February 18th, 2028. Look, we have to wait 4 months. It's not a big deal. It's just more, I look at the year where it's like a little bit of a gut punch, but I'm not panicking. To be honest, it's 4 months that I can wait. As long as the movie's good, I don't care. We're going to get trailers. We're going to get Man of Tomorrow next year, right? It's 2027? Yeah. And let's see where this all goes, because we've got a lot of DC content. Some DC movies, as I mentioned before, not doing so hot. And that's okay. Like, you know what? Maybe we need a breather. In the meantime, there is a game called Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight that I played. And let's get into the thoughts and how I feel about it. Well, overall, I think this is a phenomenal Batman game, and there's quite a bit into like what I want to unpack here, because there's a lot packed into this film, oh my god, into this video game. You can tell that the developers truly cared about everything that they put into this video game and paid attention to a lot of details, and they really, I wanted to say, it's almost like put the best moments of every single Batman game, or every single Batman game and movie, into this, into this game. And it doesn't disappoint, not whatsoever. If you've played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a trailer that was released, and I guess I'll get into one disappointing part that, at the time I was like, oh god, this is like, I was already going to buy it, but like, you want to talk about a home run, and it was where Joker breaks in and he's like, gentlemen, let's broaden our minds, Lawrence, and then cue the Prince song, where it's I think it's Bat Party. And man, like, Do I love that moment? Heck yeah. And they made it into a video game. And that to me was a home run, right? Any fan would clamor over that. I did. If I wasn't buying it now, well, I am at this moment. And, I just kind of wish that they held off because there were so many awesome moments I wish they just didn't reveal. In one particular. Now, let's get into, I guess let's just kind of section this all off. We're going to talk about the story. We're going to talk about the gameplay. We're going to talk about Gotham. And, of course, you can't talk about a Lego Batman game without humor. And, that's one thing I love about this game. It doesn't shy away from it. We're also going to talk about the ridiculous amount of Bat history that they packed into this game. Oh, my God. Like, as a Bat fan, even, man, as a general audience fan, like, you can look back and be like, shoot. Like, let's go back to Batman 1966. And is that a reference? Like, there are so many references from Batman 66 that I truly appreciated. And there's so many that I'm certain went over my head. But the word legacy in the title, Legacy of the Dark Knight, is spot on. Like, it is right there in the title. It is Legacy of the Dark Knight. And they totally honor what they would call a legacy. They look at the history, what was it, 86 plus years, right, of Batman, and they certainly hit on the history of Batman and the legacy that he's left behind and continues to develop. It is astounding as to how they honor the Dark Knight. But question, and I have thoughts about this, is does it actually add, and does this game add anything to the legacy? And that's where I think things get interesting. And let's start with the critique. Okay. And I'm kind of trying to go with the flow. But certainly when it comes to does it add anything to the legacy, my initial thoughts are no. Does it add anything, like, in the sense of, like, we'll talk about what it does before, but does it add anything to push the envelope? And I like to use Batman Arkham as the reference. Arkham Asylum 100% pushed Batman's legacy forward as a video game and as lore, storytelling, all of it. It encompassed that and then just continued to push it forward. And, obviously that even Lego Batman just kind of was like, well, you know what, we're going to use parts of those video games and adapt this into ours because it honors the legacy, but it doesn't necessarily push anything of Batman forward and kind of create its own footprint in lore. If you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's in Lego, but something that they would create and you're like, wow, like, I love that aspect of the story. They don't create anything that would be original, new, and refreshing. Okay? That's my one big criticism for this video game. You're going to see, basically, it's highlight reels, and it's in a Lego way, right? Lego does it in their own humorous way. And they honor it, and it's so enjoyable to just play through and enjoy, and like just kind of even watching those cutscenes. Man, I laughed. I had a blast. But there's part of me where I wish that they pushed that story forward and had me talking. Okay? Where it's kind of like, wow, there was a lot of lore in Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, even Arkham Origins. Like, they knew how to push that narrative forward and left lore where it kept fans wanting to learn more about that whole universe. Here, not necessarily. Like, I want to see more Easter eggs. Like, I want to delve deep because I guarantee I probably got like 1% of the Easter eggs, and there's no doubt about it where I can, that's the one thing that they really do a good job on. But my one critique of this film or this game is it does not push the lore forward. Okay. Now, let's get into everything I loved about this game. In case you didn't notice, I'm really excited to talk about it. My voice, I feel like my feelings are just, I can't wait to share it. And yeah, it took me a while to finish the game. I get it, okay? It's been busy, but I'm talking about it now. Hopefully you guys are playing it. If not, and you're on the fence, let's unpack everything that it has to offer. I knew very quickly that I was going to love this game. And generally, you know when you start playing a game within the first hour, you just know. Like, I remember playing the Arkham Asylum demo, and I just knew that this game was going to be different. I knew that Batman having Joker in the Batmobile, bringing it to Arkham Asylum, and then just playing that. How long was that demo? And right away, well, you sold me, and I just knew I was going to love this game. Well, within the first hour, and to be honest, the first hour was probably the driest out of the entire game, and it takes place where it's Bruce Wayne's origin. It feels like a page out of Batman Begins, which I love. Like, you're going through training, you're learning how to play. It just kind of learned the whole Lego ecosystem, and at the same time, you're getting a history as to who Bruce Wayne is, what happened to him, and his training. Like, it feels exactly like Batman Begins. They do such an incredible job. You're also accompanied now. There's obviously some slight differences. You're accompanied by Talia al Ghul. But regardless of that, like, I fell in love almost instantaneously there. And obviously I'm the easiest target audience in the world for this. I host a Batman podcast. My podcast is literally called Beyond the Bat Signal. So you put Batman, Lego, and Arkham style gameplay together, of course I'm in. Like, duh. And like, I freaking love Arkham. So they had the Arkham gameplay, and that was just. I saw one review, and they just said it wasn't quite Arkham gameplay, and I'm like, have you played the game? Because it is, like, in its own Lego way, but it is. But what surprised me is how much care is actually put into this game. Like, you remember Michael Keaton? Remember Christian Bale? Remember Robert Pattinson? Remember those Arkham games? They're not just references. There's real love for Batman here. And, you love all those different Batmans of Keaton, Bale, Pattinson, and, like, Conroy as Arkham Batman. And they honor it in their own way. I love it. There's so much love. Like, they pay homage to every single movie. They pay homage even to the Batfleck, right? Even to the animated series. Damn, man. They just completely understood who Batman was and is. Like, the cape, the bat signal, the Batmobiles, okay? The Batmobiles, like, yeah. And the way they drive is sick, okay? I love how they incorporate it. You start off with Rob Pattinson's Batmobile, which is already a plus. Like, he got a nice muscle car, and it's quite simply like, and you can purchase more and more Batmobiles, which is dope. And it's all those little things that they just get right, and that, as fans, we probably take for granted, and we've seen them 1,000 times, but the developers understand why these things are cool. Like, for us to play in the Batman 89 Batmobile, yeah, it's cool. It might drive slightly the same. I don't care, okay? Because I get to see the Batman 89 Batmobile. I get to see the BTAS Batmobile. I get to see the Batman and Robin Batmobile. Like, I'm just like, hell yeah. Damn right. I'm all in. And I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but there are moments where Lego Batman looks badass. It's a Lego figure. I get it. His legs don't even bend properly. Like, they don't bend at all. And somehow I'm just sitting there. I'm like, this guy is Batman. And if you've ever watched the Lego Batman movie, you're like, this is an incredible film. Like, actually, the tone of the Lego Batman movie feels very similar to the Lego Batman game. And it felt like I was watching a movie, but yet it's a game. And it just all works. This game, when we're talking about visuals, it looks absolutely incredible. So when I talk about visuals, and I told you just less than a minute ago that this game looks like a movie, it looks like you're watching the Lego Batman game or Lego Batman movie. The atmosphere, the reflections. Keep in mind, I'm playing on a PlayStation 5. The rain, the way the Lego pieces just react to the environment. It feels like a Lego Batman movie. There's no, and then like the voice acting, but that's not visuals, so I have to keep in line. I mean, like the Lego Batman movie specifically, like it visually looks like a movie that you're playing, like you are playing in a movie, and that's the way that even it's like the camera angles are working. It looks like there's cinematography that's just so good, and there's shots in this game where I thought, okay, whoever framed this shot loves Batman. Like early on. It was like a page written out of the Batman where the Batman's walking towards Penguin, and they just, if you don't remember the car chase scene or the Batmobile scene where Batman is walking towards Penguin, and obviously Penguin's car's flipped upside down, and you just have Batman slowly walk into Penguin's car, and then sure enough he just like pops his head down. Page written right out of the or taken right from the Batman film and put into a Lego movie. It was so good. As I already mentioned, another memorable one was with the Bat Party, and they just knocked it right out of the park. Truly, this was so enjoyable. Even with Batman Begins, like they had so many references from Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises, like everything. Batman Returns, they just nail it. But Batman has a very specific visual language. It's a visual language in a way. Like, you can make a Superman game bright, and you can make a Spider-Man game very colorful, pops of red. Batman needs shadows, and he needs architecture, right? Like, that's who Batman is. And one of the key characters is Gotham. So yeah, you're going to need architecture, and Batman needs Gotham to almost engulf him, swallow him. And the game sets that. And the further you progress in the game, the more of Gotham you see. And there's those beautiful, like, don't get me wrong, there's pops of lights, and visually the game just looks like an incredible PlayStation 5 game. Where you'll see buildings and beautiful Easter eggs that just like that, those colors just kind of pop out at you when you're gliding through, cruising through. It doesn't matter. And yet, even though this game is made out of Lego, like every single part of the city and every character, that's the crazy part, and it looks so good. Gotham feels like Gotham. There's no doubt about it. It takes place at nighttime, and the buildings just have that gothic look, and it feels like Gotham. Okay. I really do love this version of the city. I mean, clearly, like, if you're asking me, oh, what do you prefer, Arkham or Lego? Like, damn, like, come on. It's truly, it's two different things in a sense, but at the same time, they're both visually stunning, and it would be really hard to choose. Okay. There's times where, I see Tim Burton's Gotham, and then there's times where I feel like I'm in Nolan's Gotham. And then there's definitely moments where I feel Matt Reeves. I mentioned, like, Batman walking towards Penguin, and there's fire all around, and then you just see Batman's head popping. I loved it, And then obviously there's Arkham. Arkham is all over this game, though. Like, make no mistake, Arkham has the biggest influence in this game. And we'll get to that, so trust me. But aesthetically, I feel like the developers took the visual history of Batman and built their own Gotham out of it. So they took 80 plus years of Batman and 80 plus years of Gotham and threw it into that game. Okay, you're going to appreciate it. If I'm wrong, DM me, email me, tell me where to go. Tell me I don't know a single thing, but I'm pretty confident I'm right on this one. And that's perfect for Lego because, like, aesthetically, I think that developers took the visual history and they did an amazing job. Okay, and you take different pieces from different sets and things that just worked, and you kind of, you take them apart, rebuild them, you make something different, and that's basically the entire game, in my opinion. And now let's get to the storyline. The story, in my opinion, is Batman's greatest hits, and it's thrown into the video game. And I kept thinking of the same comparison, that this game is Batman's greatest hits album, and that's what it is, right? Legacy of the Dark Knight. It's in the title, okay? It's not like they're hiding it. Every single trailer pretty much showed you exactly what this game is going to be. So, yeah, it's a greatest hits album. And the way that they curate the story, it just flows, and they do a wonderful job even blending parts of, like, the Joker storyline, where it's like, I want to say the Jack Nicholson Joker storyline, and kind of, blend it into Batman Returns storyline, and then slowly into Batman and Robin. Like, they do an incredible job, and to me, it's not, I don't mean it negatively, to be honest. I just think that when a band releases a greatest hits album and you look at that track list and you're like, yep, love that one, classic, that's the game, okay? You look at every moment of the game and you're going to be like, you cannot be disappointed because every part of that game is a greatest hits, and I think you're going to love it. I truly do. Even if you don't like a certain area, like, let's just say you don't like Batman and Robin, I think you'll still appreciate it, right? Like, I think one thing I'll say, like, it's, for me, if someone were asking, oh, well, what's your favorite part of Batman and Robin? That's probably my least favorite Batman movie. Or the regular Joss Whedon Justice League, something like that, right? Like, you can, but it's hard to find good parts, but there are some good parts, right? And they do a pretty dang good job of all of it. Now, with Batman moments and the songs, okay, I don't want to sit here and spoil every single reference because, damn, I want you to play the game. Enjoy it, right? Like, why would I be here telling you to? I don't want to rip you off of that experience, truly. But I think that part of the fun is seeing these moments and realizing that what this game is doing. And if you know Batman film history, you're going to recognize a lot, and you're just going to be sitting there and be like, wow, this is amazing. And it's just in Lego form. There's so many moments where I'm just sitting like, okay, I know what you're doing. I know where that's from. And I appreciated it. And I think that even if you're just a general audience, damn, like, you're in for a treat. And even if you're a Bat fan, same thing. You're going to love it. But even before I can finish my thoughts, the game has already moved over to another reference. Like, and it's another reference, and it constantly is bringing up references upon references upon references. And I constantly thinking about, like, the Catwoman where she's just, like, hitting the heads off. And then there's another reference. You're like, holy Jesus, man. Like, you can't stay still and just soak it all in. And maybe that's probably another critique, is it doesn't allow me to soak in each moment, right? Like, you can't, like, sometimes it's just, they're so fast, you're like, oh, okay, that's an awesome reference, and you're like, oh crap, there's another. Maybe it's just they had to kind of slow the game down, but to be honest, that's just me being nitpicky, to be honest. Now what impressed me is that like, I guess didn't impress me is that, like, the game sometimes just feels like blocks where it doesn't feel fully stitched together, even though they did a pretty dang good job. But again, being nitpicky. And, Tim Burton's Batman does not exist in the same universe as Christopher Nolan's Batman. And Nolan's Batman doesn't exist in Matt Reeves' universe. But yet these versions of Bruce Wayne are all different. They're different. Their origins are different. Their villains are different. Their relationships are different. The tone, if you've watched all those Batman movies, are completely different. And yet this game takes inspiration from all of them and says, we're going to tell you one Batman story. And the best part is that it works so damn well in the story. It's almost like a remix that just flows so nicely. You recognize the original song, but yet the beat is different. You know, that type of remix. And you're like, I actually like this. You know, and things happen slightly in different order. Like, for example, you start off with Batman Begins, but then you jump to The Batman with Pattinson. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, you know, as long the source material, you're going to be very familiar with it. And I think that hardcore Batman fans are going to get more out of the story because of that and appreciate it. Now, there's a second layer to everything. I think a young player might watch a scene and think, okay, cool. They might not watch Batman 66. They may not have watched Batman 89. And if you're one of those younger generations that haven't watched Batman 89, what are you thinking? Go pause this podcast, go watch Batman 89 with Michael Keaton. Do yourself a favor and you're welcome. Okay? But, you know, Batman's doing Batman stuff and you're just like, wow, that's a scene. That's a moment. And you know exactly what they're referencing and just constantly saying, man, I love that. And that's what I kept saying to myself. I love this. My wife was sitting beside me like, you know what they're just doing right now? You know what they're doing? And she's watched a lot of the Batman films with me. So she's pretty familiar. Sometimes I have to bring her up to speed. But again, she appreciates it. Okay. Now let's get into the Lego humor. That is one of the biggest reasons why I think that this story works, because this game took itself, if this game took itself completely seriously, it would be insane. Okay, imagine having a serious Batman game trying to combine Tim Burton, Christopher Nolan, Matt Reeves, and all their stories and every other version of Batman into one continuity. I don't think it would work. Okay, you know, you'd look like the Riddler in the Batman trying to figure out how many or if any of this connects. But Lego gives the story permission to kind of cheat. And it gives it that sense of humor. And tastefully, too. It gives writers permission to say, yeah, we're doing this. Don't worry about it. Because it freaking works. And you're laughing. And you're laughing. And you're like, well, Batman's supposed to be dark. But you know the version you're getting. It's kind of like watching Batman 66. Right? You kind of know what version you're getting. Right? I'm not saying that's like every version is different. And it's up to you whether you like that type of Batman. This is a Lego Batman. And you kind of know what you're getting based on watching the Batman movie, the Lego Batman movie. So, yeah. Like, I don't know. I just think that Lego Batman humor works best when Batman is a serious person in a ridiculously humorous kind of world. Okay? And that's always been, I would say, it's not my favorite version of Lego Batman, but frig, man, I love Lego Batman. And it kind of is like a popcorn film. You can just sit back and relax and just enjoy. I'm not saying that you can't sit back and relax and watch a Chris Nolan film. But, you know, like, it's just different, you know, and it's a popcorn film. That's what, to me, I call Lego Batman. And you can kind of, I mean, heck, you kind of lose some attention. You'll miss a reference, that's for sure. But I don't know. It just, to me, it's so enjoyable and so tasteful, and it doesn't need, like Batman, like, you know, Deadpool, where it has like those types of, I think it's more of a cultural like references that Deadpool does, but Batman uses his own different type of humor, and it doesn't need to have like modern culture to reference it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need Batman to look into the camera and break the fourth wall and make jokes every 30 seconds. Batman's funny because he takes himself so seriously. And this is a grown man dressed as a bat. And in Batman's mind, this is completely reasonable. And, you know, of course, he has shark repellent. Like, Lego Batman would have shark repellent. And that's the funny part. And if you don't know what I'm referencing, it's the 1966 version. And this is why Lego Batman works. right? Like the Lego Batman movie understood that perfectly. Like I remember turning on that movie and automatically just joking about how Batman's supposed to be dark, Warner Brothers dark. And it kind of makes a joke on itself, and Legacy of the Dark Knight totally understands who Batman is and what Lego Batman is all about. It never feels like the developers hate this character, and to me that's important, right? They're not making fun of it, they're just having fun with it. And sometimes it does feel like, I guess, does it feel like a parody? I don't know. It feels like a person making the joke is standing outside the fandom pointing at it and saying, like, look how stupid this is. This game feels like Batman fans making fun of Batman with other Batman fans. And there's a difference. Like, we can make the Bat credit card joke. We're allowed. We've suffered enough. But now, there's been enough time passed out. Yeah, we can make a Batman credit card. And we can make it into a joke. Why not? And because so much time has passed and like we just, as Batman fans, we get it. Okay? Now, let's talk about Arkham and the influence it had on this game. There is no doubt in my mind that this game feels like Arkham. It totally does. I'm not going to dance around it. The combat, the movement, the way Batman approaches his enemies, the stealth, his gadgets. It has Arkham DNA all over it, and I love it. And why wouldn't you? Like, there's so many games that have adopted the Batman formula and the combat system. And I'm looking right at you, Spider-Man. Anyway, that Arkham DNA, and like, listen, there's no shame. I'm just saying that the Arkham DNA, yeah, you might as well adopt it because it works. People enjoy it. Like, I'd be so disappointed if they change it. Like, truth be told, I'm not going to hate on... And I actually really enjoyed this game. But the Gotham Knights game. I really enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy the combat that much. Okay. Why not just adopt the Arkham franchise combat system? I just don't get it. But the first time I really got into combat encounters and started moving between enemies, I thought, okay, I see what we're doing here. We've got the free flow inspiration. Obviously, it's going to be a little simplified. It's not exactly like Batman Arkham Knight, but it does a good job. You're not dealing with the same level of combat complexity, and you shouldn't be. It's a Lego Batman game. You're supposed to just have fun. There's nothing to be serious about it. But you can just feel the rhythm, the punch, the counters, the gadgets, and then like there's free flow. You go to the next enemy. Like I said, it just feels really good. And the funny thing is that the Lego presentation actually makes you feel like the combat is even more chaotic. And I guess it's because when you beat someone and they just kind of like break apart into different Lego pieces, that's what kind of brings the chaos. But even the environment being destroyed kind of adds to that chaos, or studs going everywhere. It's Arkham combat in a 5-year-old dumped in a Lego bin downstairs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of looks like a catastrophe where there's pieces of Lego everywhere. And I mean that genuinely in the best way possible. Okay. You'll understand, like, you're breaking a fixture and it just kind of breaks into 1,000 pieces, and then you're collecting studs, which, by the way, I spent so much time collecting studs, and do so because the more you get, the more things you can purchase. Just an FYI. But yeah, like, I honestly, like, longtime listeners of this podcast already know I love the Arkham franchise. I love the Arkham video games. Arkham Asylum changed Batman video games forever, and video games in general. Like, you cannot. It's almost tough to create a top 5 video games list in the last, let's just say, I don't know, 25 years. But does Arkham Asylum or Arkham City not fit into your top 5? And if you haven't played it, shame on you. And you're missing out. But Arkham Asylum changed video games, actually. And, like, forget just Batman video games. Like, I'm talking, like, it's literally, like I said, top 5 Batman, or just in general, or video games in general. I don't know. But, guys, If there was a reason before Arkham Asylum being Batman in a video game actually meant you control the character who looked like Batman, Arkham said, no, we're going to design the game around how Batman even thinks, how Batman moves, how he fights. You know, you're above in a room, you're doing detective mode, like, oh God, you were the Batman. And then, you know, years later, and I always compliment this game because I think it is incredible. And I'm talking about Arkham Shadow, where you just feel like the Batman, and that's just a whole different immersive experience. But yeah, I don't know. Like, even the enemies, they start panicking, they start looking up, they look terrified, and isn't that what Batman is all about? Like, he's instilling fear, and the game understood all of this. And Legacy of the Dark Knight just borrows from Arkham in the best way possible. Okay? The stealth sections are obviously simplified. The combat simplified. Like, everything is just simple. And they pack it all into this video game. And it just feels like, I don't know, like perfection. They literally executed it to perfection. And if we took the modern language of Batman video games, a language largely created by Arkham, and translated into Lego, well, it freaking works. They threw that in there, and you're like, damn, this is exactly what it should feel like. Done. And I would never change that formula. You know, it feels like Arkham, but it's Lego. You know, Legacy of the Dark Knight isn't trying to beat Arkham Knight or isn't trying to be Arkham in whatsoever. It's just taking that feeling and making it like, yeah, this is exactly what we want as fans and what we're familiar with. Heck, we're the gamers, right? And it's so easy to kind of just hop in as a new Lego fan and adopt it. They did such a great job, and I think a kid can pick up this controller and play it. It's totally acceptable for young kids to play this video game. 100%. They don't need to understand 20 different mechanics or buttons. The storyline is very much age appropriate. You know, like it's simple. You can punch a bad guy, you can throw a batarang, you can drive a Batmobile, you can just simply be Batman and not have to worry about any type of language or anything like that. I think kids and adults are going to appreciate this game. And there's no doubt about it. Like, this game could easily be someone's first Batman game, and I hope to God that if this is their first Batman game, wow, like, how lucky are you to experience all that bad history all into one game? It's a defining experience, in my opinion. Quite frankly, like, even though it wasn't my first Batman game, I felt like the defining experience for me, as I think it was, how old was I? Probably 19. And when I played Arkham Asylum, that was the defining experience for me. Now, last but not least, exploring Gotham itself is probably one of the best parts of the video game. Okay? Because I'm constantly looking around, and I mean nonstop. I think it's just as much as like when you're looking around playing an Arkham game. And I can guarantee you, I'm sure I missed things playing this Lego game. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, it's almost frustrating. And this game is so packed with Batman history, and I can't wait to even just go on YouTube and watch bad Easter eggs from this game. But you see something in the background, you notice a sign, you unlock a suit, you find a vehicle, and immediately there's a connection to Batman. That's the advantage Batman has as a character. Like, he's been around for almost 90 years. Like, you know how much stuff that there is in Batmobiles, Batsuits, versions of Gotham, gadgets, even villains? You know, all those references. Like, you can make Lego Batman games for the next 20 years and still have material. Heck, like, you know, Ryan Lauer, that guy, he's got a Batman comic book podcast. That guy's going to be going on forever. Now, back to the game. Like, you know, the suits, obviously a fun thing for me. To me, the best part is the cars. We all have a favorite Batmobile. Mine's 89. I'm sure everyone's got their own. Some are going to be 66. Some might even be BVS, you know. And yet, like, and then there's all the bat suits. Like, it's wild. And we all have like 1, 2, 3 favorite ones. And it's the same thing with the Batmobiles, like, and then, like, you got the open world Batman video game that we just love and enjoy. They have the rooftops, they have the alleys, the secret hideouts. It gives you everything. And it's like, I'm constantly like, wait, what did I just miss? And I turn around and I'm like, oh, like, there it is, Batman fandom, like, right there in this video game. And it's just plastered all over the entire game. Now, like, with that being said, okay, like, I highly encourage you to buy this game, okay? I wanted the game to take big swings, and, the one thing where I'm like, that's the only thing is it didn't give you something that's completely original and completely new, but that's okay. Okay. Legacy of the Dark Knight leaves you impressed. Okay. It's still a celebration of Batman. I love this video game. I would give it my score would be a 9 out of 10. It's a play it. Okay. Batman, there's no doubt, like, they understand who the Dark Knight is. Forget, what, the character's superpower, forget the money, forget his gadgets. Batman survived almost 90 years because Batman can change. He's adaptable. There's Adam West Batman, there's Michael Keaton, then you go to Kevin Conroy, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson. There's so many different versions of Batman, and you get that all in the video game. But somehow we accept all of them. And there's a core to Batman. There's a tragedy. There's an obsession. There's a mission. There's Gotham. There's Bruce Wayne. And they have that all in this video game. And then every generation builds around the core of those movies. Okay? And that's what this game, Legacy of the Dark Knight, completely understands. Okay? This game and the moments of each Batman movie and favorite movies of moments of all time, they all count, and it just counts. And as a Bat fan, I enjoyed every single minute of it. So my final verdict, I love the game. That's where I land. I give it a 9 out of 10. This game is beautiful. The game looks absolutely incredible. The presentation genuinely feels cinematic. Like, I cannot say this enough. It feels like a movie. Gameplay clearly takes inspiration from Arkham and then translates it into a Lego experience. And while I'm saying it takes the gameplay, also the stories take place, the adapts the movies right into the video game. So if you're a Batman fan, my oh my, are you going to smile and love each moment? I don't know how you don't. Okay, if you're not a Batman fan or you hate every single Batman movie, I just still think that you're going to enjoy every single moment of this video game. Now, with that being said, that is my review of Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight. And, I think that this is a true celebration of Batman's history. Now, what do you guys think of this game? What are your thoughts? What are your reviews? What do you think do you think the game creates its own identity? Or do you think I'm asking too much of a game that clearly is designed to celebrate Batman's history? Let me know. I have an email that you could shoot an email to, beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com, or you can DM me on X/Twitter @beyondbatsignal, or Instagram @beyondthebatsignal. Shoot me a message. Give me your thoughts. Also, if you can take 2 minutes out of your day to leave a review, it would really, really help the show. Now, until then, this is Beyond the Bat Signal, and we are signing off.